We're going to Black Hill Festival.
Yeah, Larry Hamlin.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the front porch here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimberly White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis.
And on the other side of the glass is Wick, and we are joined by not one, but two of the docs today. One on the telephone, Dr. Dare, and we have Dr. Eric Griggs, who is in studio with us. Good morning.
I don't know about that. I don't know. No, don't say anything to that dude. I don't know about that. That dude promised us last week he would be here and have me rushing over here because I know he was going to drag for me and beat me up for being late. And you mean he's not here?
He said,
Santa Claus chuckle. I said he set me up. He set me up.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that.
And what? He's going to blame it on long COVID.
This morning when the reminder went out about the show, a little reminder about what we're doing in the studio.
My God, do me a favor. Start that sentence over again and say what had happened was.
Anyway. Let's move on past this.
Oh goodness, See, this is the whole theme of the conversation. I don't want to start with me.
I'm not gonna let it go.
So what happened was that you're not here is not of most importance. But how are you guys doing on this morning?
I'm fine.
Very, very well, thank you.
Wonderful. As always, we're happy to have you both when we can get you both, and we're happy to have the important conversations about what's going on here in the city and in the world around us with regard to medical information. And I don't know if you saw Sammy J. She had on a mask. She had on a mask when she came in today, and she had on a mask to keep herself protected because someone had been hospitalized due to COVID.
So that is a direct lob to Mark Allen. Dr. Derry now is doing hospitalist work in. Emma, you want to tell them about what you're seeing?
Yeah, I see COVID. I've been seeing so much COVID. I just didn't want to come in today because I was afraid I was.
Oh no, man! That's like dog ate your homework. Mom, my car broke down on the way back. I ran out of gas. Keep it going.
There has been an uptick in COVID. What we're seeing generally just COVID is starting to kind of resolve itself. And what we're seeing is COVID, mostly people who don't know they have COVID, in other words, they're coming to the hospital for something else, and then we test them for COVID and they have COVID. But the symptoms are all kind of weirdly related. It's not like they're coming in for like a broken bone. They're coming in because of something. I'm like, that made me think of COVID, and I'll check for it, and it's happening to people who are older. So it's not like I've lost my sense of smell or I have fevers. It's these more nuanced symptoms. Maybe a little shortness of breath, maybe a little cough, but it doesn't scream COVID. And we're hospitalizing these people because of whatever other problem they have. And they have COVID on top of that. And so but we're seeing it in elderly people who are unvaccinated, people who have history of smoking. That's kind of mostly consistently what I see.
Okay, so you're seeing more. You said older people are coming in with COVID?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that still a contribution from the converge of the flu, with COVID and RSV? Is that what you're seeing that's happening, or is this just a higher tip of COVID?
And tell me if I'm wrong, but people are just more cavalier, and the symptoms are becoming more subtle. I think, like you were saying, people aren't coming in because of COVID exacerbation. They're coming in for other things. They're he's putting the constellation together. Let me just test and see. Whoa, that's COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And having COVID on top of anything else, because remember, like we said last week, it's a respiratory.
It comes into your
respiratory system. It activates your autoimmune system, and it damages your cardiovascular system. Hey, Mark Allen, I just figured it out. Yeah, it damages your cardiovascular system. So anything else that you have, it's going to make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and that's throwing my thoughts when I'm thinking some of this stuff as well, especially when we see people have, kind of an embolic phenomenon, like, by embolic I mean clot.
I was about to say.
With kind of clot phenomenon, like strokes and heart attacks and stuff like that. But I haven't really quite seen that. I'm constantly on the lookout for that, certainly. So But for people who are elderly, still trying to get a vaccine, if you're over the age of 65, the CDC now recommends a second dose of this new vaccine that was the so-called monovalent vaccine that came out in fall of last year. So if you're over the age of 65 and you're 4 months beyond getting vaccinated, please go and get vaccinated. It really does help decrease the admissions to the hospital, the severity of the disease. The example we use all the time is like a seatbelt. It doesn't prevent a car accident, but it does prevent the severity of disease. And again, I am seeing it in elderly people. Now, in terms of RSV and in terms of influenza, these are down significantly, fortunately. But what we are seeing increases of, mostly not necessarily here in New Orleans, but just because it's not necessarily here doesn't mean that it won't get here. We're seeing this across the U.S. is increases in norovirus. Norovirus is the virus that it gives you GI symptoms, the stomach bug, and nausea, vomiting, and then diarrhea, of course. And so that's something that we're seeing. And then we're still really, and Eric, I'll go back to you, talk to us about measles.
Oh man,
We talked about measles last
we
week.
did, and it's still a conversation that MA explained last week. I want to real quick though. Mark, can you said use the term that we hadn't heard in a while. Well,
It was the
norovirus. You use norovirus that people can mistake for the stomach flu or food poisoning, and then, dude, you said monovalent.
All right.
Yeah, come on, man.
Singular.
Come on, man.
Singular.
Right, but as opposed to why is it significant that this newer vaccine is monovalent as opposed to bivalent, and what do those mean? Man, have we not been together that long?
Eric and I actually have a cartoon about this.
Yes.
That was the second cartoon we wrote way back when, in January of 2021, when we did the first vaccine animation that we did that showed how mRNA vaccines work. The easiest prediction that Eric and I have ever made was, well, this is an RNA vaccine, RNA virus. It's going to mutate rapidly, like all RNA viruses do. And so we had some money left over. We just went and kicked out a really quick animation about how variants of COVID emerged. And it was very prescient of us to do, because it leads into this conversation right here, which is the COVID that we saw in March of 2020, right? The one that affected us during Mardi Gras, that kept us indoors, that whole stuff. That virus is gone, never to be emerged ever again. Because once one virus emerges and kind of peaks and it starts to dwindle, it gives rise to millions and millions of variants. And only usually one or two of them will then peak again later. And so with the first mRNA vaccine, well, really the second mRNA vaccine that we got, had two of the generations, the kind of the offspring generations of that first virus, the Wuhan virus, right? The one that emerged from Wuhan, we refer to that as the wild type. So we used that's called a bivalent vaccine, because it had two different viral strains in it. What Eric asked me to explain is the word that I used was explaining the fall vaccine.
2023.
It had one viral strain in it, which has been the dominant strain, and that is what we refer to as a monovalent. Mono means one. Monovalent vaccine. It only has one virus in it, one strain of virus. It is the predominantly, that is the family the entire world is infected with right now. And so that's why they feel comfortable making the CDC. The CDC feels comfortable making recommendations for people over 65 to now get a second dose of the monovalent vaccine.
So if you want to think of the viruses, think of it in terms of sports, right? Everyone's talking about who's the GOAT. If you go back to 1891 when James Naismith created basketball, there was the best people in 1892. You come forward. There's Wilt Chamberlain. Well, you put the old one, like the original Wuhan virus, in the Hall of Fame. You honor it. You respect it because it invented it.
Yes.
But we've evolved. All the players are 6'15" now. They're all 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. It's a different game. So it's you have to deal with watching a different sport, and you have to deal with a different influence on the population. as opposed to you
No,
honor it,
no.
but it'll never. The 5'3" guys, 5'4", they'll never make it back.
Oh
Does that
my
make sense?
That is a superb. I am sitting here agreeing with Edison. That is a superb analogy. Thank you.
Thank you for that analogy.
You're green with absence.
Oh boy. He's not gonna let you live that down. We gotta take this break, y'all. Stay tuned to the front porch right here on WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
I can't tell you how many people do you know that have had COVID in the last few months and they did nothing symptom-wise. But here's the problem: it's still COVID. Just like basketball, it's still a ball on a 94-foot court. It's still going to damage the vessels, which makes it even more dangerous now.
Yeah.
Because it's not putting you down. You're going to think you're fine, and which is why there has been an uptick, and that's what we talk about. And this is just anecdotally. I just had a friend who, one of his best friends, was 56, died in his sleep. He had a cough on Sunday. I've had at least Gina Brown had all the time. I have a friend that just is having chest pain. This is all new. I'm like, have you had COVID? Yes. They've had at least 1 or 2 times. It's coming through. That's the difference between the flu and the coronavirus is the common cold. They don't go through and damage all the blood vessels like this.
Mm-hmm.
So
is this still technically a pandemic or an epidemic?
But it's silent now. You know, they said that the greatest trick the devil ever played is to convince people it didn't exist.
Yeah.
And that's what's slowly happening.
Yeah.
COVID is going to the background. It's getting where it wanted to be because the virus wants to be around.
Yeah.
Pass the seams on. So we're going to get in. We ain't make them sick it off. Make them sneeze a couple times. Whatever. But we're going to still get in
Yeah.
and do the damage. Which is why it's a little concerning whenever I hear them reducing isolation, reducing quarantine, because it's becoming more infectious.
Yeah.
So it's the devil. It's making people believe it doesn't exist while it goes in. And again,
All I'm saying is that the media reports haven't been good because I mean, what was that? The declaration a couple of months ago or whatever that is over or whatever.
yes, well, so a lot of these decisions are financial, and a lot of these decisions are politicized because this is a pot of money that I could use for this, here, and here, which is why, if you remember, during the whole thing, I tried to stay out of the politics of it as much as I could. M.A. loves, and that's his thing. And now we're back in that era, so that's why I take my lease off of my calendar to go do whatever. But because it's too late. I mean, it's already politicized. And the media can only report what they're told.
Dancing and a chance to celebrate all that
So it's tough. So still got to pound the table because
visit
you heard it here. There's going to be a study that comes out that shows the increase in cardiovascular incidence post-COVID and with long COVID. Watch. Just give us a few months. How many people do you know that have hypertension or had a stroke or diabetes since COVID? Young, like you know. Like, and the danger is they're doing things, they're just exercising like normal. Never been on medication before, but that's extra stress on the heart. Remember, your blood pressure is only a snapshot in the movie of your life. You take it, that's why they tell you to rest for 15 minutes to see what your resting pulse is. Your blood pressure goes up and down all day. Well, if the diameter of the tube is thinner because of inflammation and scarring, as it goes up, as opposed to only going up to about 140, it might go up to 180, 200. And that's what
and follow LCMC Health and WBOK on social media.
Yeah, because I've been hearing, so-and-so dead. Like, what happened? I don't think they had a heart attack. Yeah.
Which is usually cardiac.
Yeah.
The glass is Myron and still with us. We have Dr. Eric Griggs
In studio.
and Dr. Mark Ellis.
On the phone.
Oh my goodness, you are really not gonna let him live today with that, are you?
I know you're not living that down. That's going on a salad bar of
This is the second or third week in a row.
That you have been here.
He tells me, dude, if you tell me, I'll show up.
Yes,
told him.
Tell me.
We told you last week. How much more telling we got to do if I'm here?
It was last week was like, in my head, I probably saw over 250 patients, like between now and then, man. I can't even like again, we send out a text every Wednesday.
So when you're
about this,
when your dog ate your homework,
Oh,
did he
boy.
use salt because I'm worried about the puppy's pressure.
Oh,
You know, healthcare professionals have some.
really are gonna be leaving.
Healthcare professionals have some communication issues.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Well, it happens.
Blame it on the COVID.
So we were talking before. You want to pick up where we left off?
Yes, you were asking, Mark Allen, you were talking about the difference between the monovalent and the
Right.
bivalent. And the other term, can you help? My superpower is I have super friends, even though on very rare occasions when they stand me up, I say good things about it in front of them. But Mark Allen got me, way before COVID, got me introduced into the world of this ID thing, which I blew off. In med school, I was like, who wants to, that's bugs, that's gross. Little did I know, it has some of the coolest stories, and it's more relevant to public health than a lot of things that we take for granted. So, Emma, you use the term norovirus. Can you explain what that is, how it's contagious, and like the stomach flu, gastroenteritis, all that other stuff that people are coming in with?
Yeah, 100%. And I think people may know norovirus. It's really hit our public consciousness when we saw the attacks, these highly infectious attacks that occur on cruise ships, right? You want to go take a vacation, you save your money, you take your time off work, you're doing all that. And what happens? You get on a cruise ship and you're walking, and you put your hand on a rail, maybe you slide your hand on that rail for a second, and then you touch your mouth, you yawn, and then you just touch your mouth. Well, boom. Virus is transmitted from the rail, air rail, mouth gets into your gut, and it's a very, very unpleasant experience. We've all had GI or gastrointestinal issues. I'm not going to belabor the symptoms, but I'm sure we're all aware of what they do. The point of this virus is that it does its job. Like COVID, sometimes it like cruise into you and it would just stay stealthily in the background and you wouldn't know that you had COVID. Not norovirus.
Okay.
If you get norovirus, you know you have norovirus, and that is again that you described it perfectly. You can call it food poisoning, whatever, but that's pretty much what that is.
My grandmother used to call it the flux.
The flux?
Yeah, the flux, because you're fluctuating between the bedroom and the bathroom all night.
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But are people?
Flux too. You'd be fluctuating between up and down.
Yeah, both the bucket beside you, or you just
So, what instances or how many cases have you been seeing with people with the norovirus as of late?
This is more of the CDC reporting, and the basic report is that we're just seeing significant increases because it's hard to measure. What we really are measuring is wastewater. So they're just seeing that's the way that we know that we're able to see it. It shows up in wastewater. So one thing, COVID was horrible, and in America we botched it big time, and we have over 1 million deaths that we have to account for collectively. That being said, COVID did bring some good things, right? I mean, Zoom, telemedicine, it brought a lot of, it made us change the way we did things. And one of the things that we changed was we're able to now collect wastewater regularly because public health officials are seeing that the constant evaluation of wastewater can give us a lot of information. It gives us a lot of infectious disease information. But interestingly, it gives us information about illicit drug use as well.
Oh.
So you can see that if there's increase in opioids or what have you, it is reflective of what's happening in your society as well. So it's an interesting, and I'm sure the science behind wastewater is incredibly young, and we're just going to see that blossom over time. And it's super exciting because if you think about it, we don't all go and give blood, we don't all go and do this, we don't all go and do that. But the one thing we all do, we end up sitting on the toilet once a day, and it all goes to one place.
Wow.
You can collectively obtain information that will give you some information about what society is experiencing. So that's one thing that we're seeing. So that norovirus is one of the ways that we know we're seeing an outbreak right now.
That is both fascinating and scary to me.
Dude, you just hooked 2 more fish. You just talked about all that gross, buggy stuff, and both their lives just lit up like, wow, you got 2 more infectious disease fans and public health fans. That was awesome.
But it's both fascinating and scary at the same time because if used the wrong way, this could be another way that people target other people with the guise of trying to help, but not really.
I'll tell you one of the ways that.
You got him started.
So one of if you think about as you know, I went down to Sierra Leone, West Africa, during the Ebola outbreak, and Ebola is very, very. You just need one, like COVID. You need like millions of virion virus exposure. You need to walk into a big cloud of COVID or influenza or even HIV. You need a viral load to get HIV. But with Ebola, you need one virus.
Wow.
It is so incredibly infectious. And not only that, in the right setting, it can be also very, 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 very deadly. So I can see a time where, just like what we saw in the early settlements of this country, the disgusting behavior of the giving of the First Nations blankets that have smallpox, that was the first ever collective understanding of what bioterrorism is, and I can see that happening again. And yes, infectious diseases are a target-rich environment for bad actors in the world to utilize against innocent people or people who are unvaccinated or unexposed.
Wow. See, I told you would take it there. So you just linked it to bioterrorism. Holy smokes, and Batman, based on on wastewater. See what I mean? That's what he did to me.
Lake Pontchartrain is popping, eh?
Listen, I say this much, I say this like infectious diseases are here. I'll end on a happy story. All right, here's a happy story. How was makeup invented?
How was makeup invented? Now, who's there?
How was makeup invented? So, when you look at smallpox is an incredible virus, right? It's the first virus we've ever eradicated. Well, we eradicated virus? Yes. When humanity works together, we can do some amazing things. And one of the things that we did is that we went around the world and vaccinated everybody for smallpox. Well, how could we have done that? Well, I told you a minute ago that COVID was an RNA vaccine. It mutates rapidly. But smallpox doesn't mutate at all. And in fact, that's how we're able, it's a very stable vaccine. It never mutates. And so when you go back to Egypt, because smallpox emerged out of the Egyptian dynasty 5,000 years ago. And when you look at these so-called, the scientific name, mummies, these embodied individuals that lived 5,000 years ago, and you're able to pull some material off of them, they're able to actually find smallpox. And when they compare the smallpox of 5,000 years ago to the smallpox of 1976, which was the last year we saw smallpox, unchanged. The viral genome was unchanged because it was a DNA vaccine, or a DNA virus. So that brings me to my cool story. So if smallpox emerged out of Egypt, why was makeup invented? Makeup was invented to cover up the scars and the pox marks it made on your face. And so people didn't want to show they had those pox scars, so they covered it up using makeup. And that's how makeup was invented.
Well,
That's one of those.
That makes a lot of sense. But I mean, makeup has taken off in so many different ways and places since then. But no, that is really fascinating. Thank you for sharing
about
that.
the overuse of rouge.
Or trying to find your color exactly to match yourself. I know it's such a concern.
This isn't my shade. I'm alive.
Well, thank you so much to Mark Alexander and Dr. Eric Griggs for joining us on the front porch and sharing such needed information about what's going on in the medical community and what's impacting our family and friends who are listening and need to know. Thank you guys for joining us for the next podcast.
I will see y'all next week. I will be. I'll see y'all next week.
Thank you all for joining us on the front porch for the last 3 hours and enjoying the conversations that we've had. And we will see you here on tomorrow for Travel Thursday, right here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. So Skylar is outside fussing with the people, because Dom had to move his car, and like we don't really have nowhere to park. Like I've never seen a parking like this before.
I'm only so even some mornings when I come to the TV station, I have to park like in the back
Oh yeah.
and walk.
Yeah, this construction situation is like
What are they doing?
I don't even know because I don't know what they're fixing.
It looks like they
Other
add,
than the
looks
street.
like they're adding some looks like they're adding
But they don't
facilities.
even